Tom Vassel's top 100 games of all time. DRC, voice of the people.
I'm just saying you have 55% of the intro.
55. People get zipped.
It's a sign of things to come.
Move it up, move it down, move it on, turn it on. How about that?
That's why I get 55%.
There you
that
go.
extra 5%,
Professionalism.
microphones.
Welcome, everybody, to our second week of the top 100 games of all time. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hi.
I am Mike DeLisio.
Who are you going to be representing here, Mike?
Today, I will be representing the voice of the people. And ladies and gentlemen, heavy is the crown that weighs upon the head of the people.
Heavy games, a bunch of heavy games.
That'd make more sense if you're wearing a hat or something.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Those
Heavy,
are right.
heavy games. No, I don't know what I
You're
meant.
just worried about like having a lot of pressure and stress on you,
Correct.
like some sort of kingly figure.
Regal, yes.
Regal, sure.
Perhaps. I don't know if I'd go
could-
kingly. Regal,
Oh,
maybe.
you're a fairly regal guy, I think.
Well, I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you did, though.
Yeah, you got it.
Bunch of garbage. All right. Today, we're finishing up the first half of this list.
Really?
Wow.
We're about to get out of the garbage of your...
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I didn't say that, but if you say that 51 through 100 is garbage,
I
you
have
can say it.
3 new entries in this section and 2 that have been on the list since the very beginning.
Wow.
15 years.
You just won't let them die. I have possibly 2 that are new to the list, but
That's
I really
up to
have
you guys
no
to keep track of that.
I have no idea. Maybe one. That one's new. Yeah. And maybe one other one. But we'll find out when you tell me.
The people have one new entry for the people. Otherwise, a pretty well-established run of games here.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Classics. Stick with the classics.
That's right.
Well, let's find out. All right, let's start with a new one here. This one I expected to be on Z's list. I still do, actually. I did not expect it to make my own list until I played it, and I love this game. I was just talking about it earlier today.
Oh, I know what this is.
What?
Empires of the North.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to call it Empires of North. I'm not even going to say Imperial Settlers anymore because it's confusing.
Yeah.
No.
It really should be called Empires of the North.
An Imperial Settlers
An
game at
Imperial
the bottom
Settlers
or
game
whatever.
or whatever.
Right.
I think I do kind of ignore that part now, especially if I write it down on something.
So I have not played the Roman faction. I believe you just reviewed it, like today.
Like today, though you're not getting it today, obviously, I still need to edit the thing. But soon, this week.
Yeah, so I haven't
coming
played the
out soon.
Romans, but I have played the other factions. I really enjoy the back and forth of this game.
Yeah.
I don't think I've still played it more than 2 players.
That's fine. You're not missing anything.
I just really like it as a 2-player game.
I did play multiplayer several times, especially at our get-togethers and retreat. I started retreat and so forth. It's the same, it's the same idea, but 2 players is just a little faster. That's where it's at.
I like the artwork, I like the look, I like the choices that you have, and I like that it basically lets you build up an engine in front of you really fast.
Yes.
I mean, the game is not that many turns, and by the time you get to the end, you're like, look at all these cool things I can do.
It'll be about 5 or 6 turns, yeah.
But it really speeds up, and I'm glad for that. And it gives you things, and there's also a very distinct feel to the factions. Someone asked me this morning in Q&A, like, what factions would I want to see added? I don't even care. I mean, I don't care what civilizations, because at the end of the day, I care about the mechanisms.
Right.
Sure.
And that's the neat part. Whenever there is a new faction that is introduced, yes, they are the Romans, or they are, a couple of Japanese factions or whatever, but it's all about those mechanisms that make it a new deck. And they're good so far. Yeah, I really like them. That's a good one.
I've heard it also has a good solo mode. Z, I know you're not a solo gamer, Tom.
I would not do that at all.
It's a good one? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Never heard that about solo gaming. All right, my number 60 is a Euro game that I really like. One that is very, I will say it feels elegant. It feels like there is a lot of streamlining in the game.
Rococo.
No, it's called Gold West.
Wow, this is pretty high on your list, actually.
I do like Gold West.
Not
I'm pretty
Rolled
sure
West.
No. Rolled West is a lot more forgettable. It's a roll and ride that uses some of the same ideas. It's okay. Gold West is a great game.
I still have not played this one.
This one's neat. It's a point salad for sure. Everything you do relates to some other little thing you can do to pursue a few points here and there. But I like the way you are flipping over the board, sort of discovering the areas, claiming these tokens, using the resources to advance on one of several different things. It does feel clean. On the flip side of that, I could see a lot of people thinking or saying that it feels a little sterile. It is a kind of point salad-y.
I gotta say, looking at that board, I'm not sold on the board.
Yeah, I get that, and it's got that. I mean, the cover even.
Yeah.
It's very this is minimalistic for the most part. The one main mechanism in it I really do like a lot is there is a system in which you get your own resources that you mine out or you gather. You get those back kind of slowly by putting them on a track with 4 boxes, I think it is. Depending on what box you put, everything you collected that round, you put it in one box. If I put it in the 4th box, I immediately get 4 victory points. But then every turn I have upcoming, I can pick one box, pick up everything from it, and drop one piece off until everything comes out the top. And that's what I have to work with this round. So I can get points, and then slowly get that stuff from that box back to me again. And that's a cool mechanism. I like that a lot. And you can tell there are always moments where you're good for a few rounds and you can just get the 4 VPs, or you're going to need those kinds of ore this round. So you put it in the first box and you immediately cash them in. 1 point, but you get them. So I really like that.
This was 43 last time.
Okay, there you go.
We had talked in an earlier video about how this theme is one that maybe is a little underutilized. How well does the theme come through in this, do you think?
No.
But there is a game in which you actually pan for gold from Haba.
Oh.
You ever play that one? It's like it's this big plate, and there's all these marbles, and there's a few yellow marbles and a lot of other ones, and you're trying to roll the yellow ones off without the other garbage coming
holes
out.
in the thing?
No, you're trying to roll it off the side.
Oh, wow.
Keep the
without
yellow.
the other ones coming off. It's you're like,
that's pretty clever.
It's really fun for like the 10 minutes, and then you're like, all right, next.
Yeah. Cool.
It's also a gigantic box.
Haven't seen that one. Anyway, Gold West is my number 60.
All right, well, the people.
Here we go.
The people. There's been some scuttlebutt out there about the people. I don't know if you're aware of
what?
this. Scuttlebutt.
All right.
They've said that the people can't be trusted. The people can't be trusted, they say. Now, I personally, speaking for the people, that is patently untrue.
What is going on here?
The people can be
Is this a clue?
trusted.
Is this werewolf?
However, there are some games where if you were dishonest, untrustworthy, perhaps you might do better at the game.
We've already done Resistance. But we did Resistance Avalon. I get confused.
This is a game that you might think is essential to your collection. Dice Tower essential to your collection.
Come on, that's a terrible clue.
That's a good clue.
Sheriff of Nottingham!
like
It starts with R and ends in A. Come on.
Sheriff
Might be
of Nottingham.
essential.
So this is one that's fluctuated a little bit.
Actually, it's now printed by Kuhlman here now.
Oh yeah, we have an old cover there. 2 years ago it was 38, right? So came on with a bang. Went down to 70 last year, but it's back up to 60. So,
Oh, it went up.
Yeah, it went up.
Yeah!
So
That's interesting.
maybe the expansion helped a little bit. And
Well, the people realize that they love lying. That's what
the
it is.
people love to lie. They really do. They just can't. Well, no,
Now
I
I'm
don't
confused.
think
Which version are we talking about?
I don't know.
I don't know. You tell me. I can't be trusted.
Oh, I get it.
See
He's
what I
the
did there?
people.
It's meta, people. It's meta. So, Sheriff
I'm
of
meta
Nottingham-
confused.
This is a game where I've heard people say, "Hey, you can tell the truth the whole way through and win." But,
Yeah, that's
is
true.
But it's more fun to lie. Come on,
You
let's
gotta
be
lie
honest.
one
It's
time.
more fun
This
to
game.
lie.
If you're gonna tell the truth the whole game, and that's the gimmick you're going with, and
Right.
it becomes apparent, you can get away with one really big lie later, typically,
Mm-hmm.
I play games where I've never lied.
Yeah.
like a sucker.
No. You can still be dishonest. You can be like, hey, look, I promise there's contraband in here. Also, here's your bribe.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
You can do all kinds of stuff like that.
I see what you're saying. You don't lie, but you're still, smuggling things.
But truthfully.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever
Yeah,
works.
here I come. Here's your tip. Keep going.
That's one of the fun things about the game is that you've got kind of that license to
License to lie.
license to lie, but
And make deals.
That's
and
right.
Do weird things like, okay, you know what? Let me go through from everything in here. I'll give you one card of your choice. That kind of thing.
yeah,
That's fun. It's open-ended like that.
absolutely. Cool. Yeah, very fun game.
My next game has been on my list for 9 years. It was 69 last year, so it's actually gone up by 10.
Yeah, do you even play this game anymore?
I did play it in the last year, actually. This was called a different name. It was a different game before this point in time. It was originally called Union Pacific until they learned they didn't have the rights to publish it under that name.
What's it called now? What are you talking about?
It is Airlines Europe.
Oh, okay.
This
okay.
is the original one was Union Pacific. Airlines Europe has a few small rules changes, but they really streamlined the Union Pacific had these different tracks you could build on, and they just got rid of that nonsense.
Didn't they recently reprint Union Pacific, or was that a different Knizia Connection game?
This is Alan Moon, so
Oh, I'm confusing Union Pacific with the one Reiner Knizia that got reprinted by Grail Games.
Oh, the Stevenson's Rocket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Stevenson's Rocket is not even allowed to look at my top 100.
Wow.
Like-
Sorry, Stevenson.
You go outside and they're in the crowd out there, and you're like, you beat them out of the crowd. You can't even get in the theater.
The people do
Man.
not appreciate this
The
behavior.
doctor is not
I'm
in.
sorry, I hate Stevenson's Rocket, but I love this game. This is this was actually done before. The original one, Union Pacific, came out before Ticket to Ride. He was the train game guy. It's a share game. It's really simple. You take shares or you make the shares bigger, that kind of game.
Right. Yeah.
And you make them bigger by putting the airlines out on the board. Really like it. A lot of fun, and it scales really well. And it's really good production.
I have not played this, but I have played Union Pacific.
Played it once and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
All right. All right, my number 59 is one of those cooperative deduction type games in which you're trying to figure out a whodunit called Deadline. And Deadline, to look at it, you might think,
It's still one of my favorite pictures of a game cover ever.
yeah, it looks like, I mean, a lot of people might look at it and go, oh, this looks cheap. I think it looks like what it's trying to look like.
Pulpy.
I think it's pulpy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like that, gumshoe little novel in which you're trying to figure out what happened. And that's pretty much how it plays. The way I always sort of lay it out is I say it feels like the Grizzled mechanically, where you are playing cards to a common shared space, trying to get specific symbols to show up. But if you do so, if you accomplish your mission, you need 2 revolvers, a shot glass, and a pack of cigarettes. If you get that displayed on the table among all the players, you get to read that clue. You're trying to break into a bar, let's say.
Right.
Great. If we did it, we get to read that piece of clue. Oh, so-and-so was not there at the murder scene because they were doing this other thing. Great. Now we know something else. If you don't accomplish it, then you don't get that clue, and in fact, you remove there's like 4 cardboard bullets. You remove them, and eventually when those 4 are gone and you still need to remove one, now you start eating away at the possible clues.
Got it.
And then once the game is over, you are posed 3 questions and you need to answer them, something like that. So it's that same Sherlock Holmes consulting detective, it's that, all that stuff. But it's very streamlined. It's a very clean design. It's one that doesn't have a lot of overhead when it comes to abilities. Turn sequence is very straightforward, I like it a lot. It's got only 12 cases in the box, so once you play those, you will be done with it. But even I haven't played them all yet, and they do get a little bit more complex as you go on, as these games typically do. So I like it. Not the most pretty game on the list, certainly, but a competent one and a really neat concept as well.
Okay, I got it. He was sitting there. He's turned this way, so he's trying to just do something. She is looking at the clue. I don't know what clue she's looking at exactly, but she suddenly realizes that he is the murderer. And so he is turning and reaching for the gun because she stupidly is saying this out loud. Like, oh, you're the murderer. So now he's going for the gun, except he's not wearing his nearsighted glasses, so he's not quite sure where the gun is.
That hasn't happened yet.
Tune in next week to see what happens.
Okay.
Wow. That's,
Sure.
That's,
Also,
sure. That's,
the editor in this town has a bad sense of what they're allowed to put on the, like, how big should the headline be? Well, remember when this presidential campaign was over? Make it bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
Police baffled.
yeah, we know the police are baffled.
And the police like, look, dude, I feel like you should make us look a little bit better.
Right.
All right, Tom. I don't think these guys are going to be asking you to write any guest cases. for
Shut
this.
up, I'm not the one drawing the stupid pictures.
I think it's cool.
That was a hard-boiled description right there for sure.
It was.
Number 59 for the people has been rising with a bullet.
Oh, my
That's
God.
not a clue, actually.
Oh.
That's not.
That's
a weird expression
It truly
there.
has. It really. But this surprised me when I saw that this won 2 years ago 78, last year 66, this year 59. Not a game that I would have thought had been on a steady increase. Used to be called Constantinople. This game, not anymore.
Why'd I change it? I can't say.
Oh, you guys are the worst.
We just like it better that way.
Istanbul.
It's Istanbul. That's right.
Oh.
That little Rudiger Dorn. This
I
is
still
a
love
game.
the type I said that in my review and someone's like, Tom, you need to learn geography.
This is a game that does kind of feel like a modern classic in a way. I mean, it's very simple. You know, it's got the modular setup, and you can, and depending on how that's set up, that can really change how the game is played. It can feel like a race, depending, where you're just kind of really trying to utilize the speed of getting those gems.
Yeah.
You can set it up in such a way that you can't necessarily do that, and you have to be more tactical but it keeps coming out with expansions too, and I wonder if that's why it's still, it has a big box version now.
Yeah, right.
I was really surprised when I saw that this was on a 3-year increase. I would not
I
have
think
called
it's been a bit of a slow burn. Maybe
Yeah.
a lot of people sort of overlooked it. It was an award winner.
Yeah,
It won the Kenner Spiel, and that was when people started looking at it.
yeah.
And then I believe AEG brought it over.
Right.
It's in a big box now?
You can get a big
Who's
box.
doing the big box? It wasn't AEG, I don't think. Was it
Pegasus,
maybe
I
Pegasus?
think. Yeah, I think Pegasus did it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's just for me, Yokohama kind of killed it. But I get why people like it. It's a pretty simple game.
It's a purer system than Yokohama is. I mean, it's very streamlined. You can play a game of Istanbul in what, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
And it looks more complicated than it is.
Absolutely.
So people are feeling like, yeah, I'm playing this complicated
That's
game,
true.
but it's actually pretty easy to jump into.
You can still be dumb and
Yep.
play.
That is what Z
That's what
said.
the people are saying.
Number 59, Istanbul.
Number 58 is a game that we very rarely talk about these days, but it was already on Z's list. It's a crossover.
What?
It was my 23 last year, so I dropped it down some bit because I never played this because the copy was always being used by someone else in our office. And that is Blood Rage.
Oh.
Okay, so here's the deal. Blood Rage was Sam's game for sure, right?
Yeah.
You talk about it all the time. That didn't mean we didn't like it.
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
really think the game is fantastic. I don't like it maybe as much as another game from Come On, but I think it's fun. I think it's fantastic. I like the fact you can control big monsters.
Yeah.
And I like the drafting. I like the combat system. I like everything about it. Once again, I'd like to point you back to the original review of it and see who's the most excited of the three people. It was me.
Was I part of that?
You were.
Okay. I don't remember that.
I just remember, I remember that review very distinctly. I feel like it should be pointed out once in a while.
I might have to go back and watch that, actually.
The people had no part of that review.
The people watched that review. Mike.
That's true. The people watched it. Yes. They remember.
No, all the people.
That's what I'm saying. The people watched it. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. See, I'm
Blood
trying.
Rage, a great game. My number 58.
All right, my number 58 is Carpe Diem from Stefan Feld. And Carpe Diem.
Well, there
there it
was
is.
like no lead in there. All
That's
right.
okay. There's no lead with this game. It's so ugly.
It really is ugly.
You're playing this because you know you're going to enjoy yourself. A Stefan Feld game of tile laying, a little bit of city building, and then completing some goals. You're not playing it because it's pretty. It really is an unattractive game, but thankfully it is a great design. I have played this quite a bit. I do enjoy it. I like the mechanisms. I like that it feels a little bit smaller, more contained that a lot of Feld games have in the past. I find them a little too sprawling. It's the same concept, get a bunch of points from a bunch of different things. But I don't want to have to deal with disparate mechanisms all over the place. This one brings it all together on this little, 6x6 board or whatever in front of you. You deal with that. You put your little puzzle together there, get some points, all of that stuff. I like it. Scales really well, too. I like that about it. 2, 3, 4 players all play excellently. So, yeah, Carpe Diem, one of my favorite Stefan Feld games. And hopefully they'll come out with a fancy deluxe version of this one someday.
That would be nice.
Did they already come out with a second, nicer edition?
It looked the same, though, pretty much.
I don't know. I don't think it would sit here, but I know this wasn't on your list last year because you started playing this in December.
Yeah.
New. I feel like someone said to Aaliyah when they saw Castles of Burgundy, you can never make a more brown and monochromatic game. And they said, hold my point salad.
Hold my cardboard.
Oh, my point salad.
Which is more brown, this or this? Or, I mean, I don't understand why they go with that.
Starts rolling up his sleeves daintily. I got this.
I agree. It's pretty brown.
It's almost like they're daring people to play it. Anyway, I'm sure it's a fantastic game.
It is so good. You haven't played it.
I have not
I don't
played
hate
it.
this picture, though.
The cover is actually the best part of the whole thing.
That
And that's
lady
saying
looks like she's cheating that guy who looks like he's cheating her. I think they both feel like they're cheating each
You
other.
need to stop looking for
Also,
hidden meaning. In
All I
these
know is
covers.
something was robbed, but the police were baffled.
Don't steal my joy!
Jesus, that
But
fish knows something nobody
Here's the
else
deal.
knows.
They're secretly brother and sister.
Oh, God.
They just don't realize that they were separated at birth.
Oh, you're watching too many telenovelas.
Who was the trout bandit? Police baffled.
I like him.
All
I
right.
like the trout bandit. Oh, that's awesome.
That needs to be a game, too.
Oh, I like it.
All right, number 58 for the people is a game that is stunning on the table. First time that I saw
Carpe
it.
Diem.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about two ends
So
of
we've
the
eliminated
spectrum.
a few,
Yeah.
few games here.
Let's talk about two ends of the spectrum here. Yeah, you've got that, and now you've got Kemet. Just look at that cover. Look at that. Who doesn't want to play this game?
That one dude.
Really? Oh, come on.
That one dude down in the corner who's grimacing, and I only know that dude because Z used it as a.
Yeah, pointed him out, right?
Z did a that was in a game show. I'm like, where's that guy from?
Yeah,
Some
where I
little
showed-
goblin dude.
I showed just that piece of the cover and then a little bit more and then a
Oh,
little
I
bit more.
remember that. That's right.
And like that guy, nobody ever paid attention to him until I highlighted
He's
him.
just in there.
He has a lot of history going on right there. Tell us about it, Tom. Tell us
Oh,
about
later.
All right.
Let's get the backstory. Very consistent. 2 years ago, 42. Last year, 46, 58. You know, certainly, and you know the what is it, Blood and Sand? The kind of
There's
the
a
reworking
new-
is going
yeah.
to be coming out. I think that'll get people even more interested. You know,
Well,
it's-
they're gonna be separate entries, so they're gonna fight each other for a
Oh,
while. There'll be
interesting.
that guy who's like, I only play
right.
first edition.
The OG.
Kemet's one of those games that I think is a hybrid. You can get Euro gamers on board. You can get Ameritrash gamers on board.
Right.
It's got a little bit of both. Really, I think it's actually a very elegant system, the way your player board is set up, the way you
Right.
take your actions. I think Kemet's going to continue to be played for years. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Blood and Sand.
Blood and
probably
Sand will kind of overtake
muddy
it.
the waters a little
Yeah.
bit for a bit there, but then it's likely to, one of the two will keep going.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yep. Number 58. Nice job, people.
My number 57 is new to the list, even though the game came out 6 years ago. And that's because the second edition of this just made me enjoy it more. I was already coming around on the first edition. I had a grudge against the game when it first came out because it whooped up on Splendor for the Spiel des Jahres.
Oh, I have a guess.
Well, there's only one game that did that, so it's not a
okay.
guess.
No guess. Well, I could be wrong. I don't want to guess.
Guess now.
Century?
No, they didn't come out the same year.
Oh, same year as Splendor. Then I have no guess.
That would
People
be-
are clueless. And by people, I mean me.
You better be more clear on that.
I'm going to take
The
that
people
one.
are
Yeah.
clueless.
Not you, folks.
Camel Up is my game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Camel
First
Up.
edition.
No, the second edition. Although it's pretty close to the same game. It's just nicer components, and they added in the expansion rules. But I was already coming around on it already on the first edition because, again, I was so enamored with Splendor, which I think incidentally did not make my top 100 this year, that I said, how could another game beat it? And I played Camel Up, and I said, eh.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you watch their 24-hour marathon, you can see that occasionally there is a meh game that came up, because that was definitely a meh game.
Right.
Yeah.
But when it clicks, it is an amazingly fun game.
Yeah.
You bet on camels. I've stood up and screamed and cheered in this game. It can be that exciting. It is really fun.
Yeah.
So, this is in that group of games that I call party adjacent.
Yeah.
Where it's not necessarily a party game, but it is,
Yeah, no, I get that. I do like that category of games when they're not too dumb. Because I do not like a game that is as light and goofy as a party game, but has a bunch of rules I have to teach that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
But a game where the rules are manageable, the game's a strategy game to a degree, but there is that energy and that sort of satisfaction that comes with a party game. Those are rare. Camel Up nails that. You're right.
Yeah, it's really good. I really like it, and the new edition's phenomenally produced too.
It's super quick too.
It is quick,
which is great.
All right, my number 57 is one of the first games that took the whole Yahtzee mechanism and really blew the doors wide open, brought it to everybody, and it wasn't
One of the first.
I think it was one of the ones that
Roll Through the Ages.
no, it's got
Ra,
a
the
better
dice
theme
game.
than that. Something bigger. Ra, the dice game. Nobody's played that.
Yeah.
I played it.
I played it too. I have a copy. of
Elder
it.
Sign?
Oh, Elder Sign's a good choice.
Is that Yahtzee-esque?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. King of Tokyo is what it's
Oh, yeah.
We were close, though. I feel.
yeah,
I feel like we were there.
Yeah. King of Tokyo, again, use that central idea of you get a roll, you then get 2 re-rolls, and then you do something with that. And you can make victory points with that, yeah, sure. But ideally, what you were doing, according to Tom anyway, ideally what you were doing was attacking the other monsters, getting energy to buy upgrades on cards to make your monster better, more menacing, more powerful, more dangerous, trying to control Tokyo. And when you're in there, not only are you getting points at the beginning of every one of your turns, but when you roll those dice to cause damage, you hit everybody else at the table. So you want to be in there, right? That's definitely what you want.
I just want to kill everybody else. I don't care if
That's
I'm
what
in
I'm-
Tokyo
that's
or
what I'm
out of
saying.
Tokyo, around Tokyo.
Near Tokyo,
You're not trying to roll
I'm running
threes?
out of that. I'm running out of prepositions here.
above Tokyo,
Above, below, Grover.
Grover.
They should. Well, that's right. You didn't grow up, but Grover, near, far. Grover was the
Sesame
preposition
Street.
I
guy.
don't know what that is.
Yeah.
No idea. Anyway, King of Tokyo.
Grover should be one of the monsters in King of Tokyo.
Oh.
Super Grover.
That'd be good. Yeah, Super Grover can do it.
That's right.
Huh. All right, King of Tokyo. It's awesome. Grover expansion coming soon. You heard it here first. What? Wah, bah, bah. Exclusive announcement.
Grover Cleveland. All right.
Grover Cleveland. Hello, everyone. Like, what is this?
Grover Cleveland versus Taft. All right. 57. I'm retheming
Presidential King of Tokyo expansion.
With only obscure
Zachary Taylor.
1800 presidents.
That's it.
57 is the new entry to the People's List, and they are coming with the hot fire. The most talked about game of 2019. Clearly, the most talked about game.
Wingspan?
2019.
No, Fireball Island.
Close to Wingspan. Wingspan adjacent.
Said fire.
You're getting too literal.
Oh, dang.
You can't. The
most talked about game
The
in
people are an
2019?
enigma. Yes.
Tapestry's on the list.
Absolutely. 57 people.
That's
57. Tapestry.
There's no fire in
A
that.
civil. What are you kidding? There's fire all over the place. You start as makers of fire. Everybody in the game. That's your opening civilization is makers of
is?
fire or something like
Okay.
that.
you played the game.
And I didn't even know that.
Huh.
I wasn't even thinking that when I said that. I was just.
You're that good.
Yeah, nice save there,
I'm
Mike.
rolling. I'm rolling just like those science die. It's a civilization game. Look at that. No, that screams civilization. Now here's the thing. People say no, it's not. It's a Euro. You're moving tracks up. You know what? You are. You're moving cubes up a track. It's a civilization themed game. That's enough for me. I can do. I said this before. I can do some heavy lifting. It looks good. It
heavy lifting with your imagination.
It is a little bit of heavy lifting.
Yeah,
I mean,
wanna make sure.
to call it a civilization game is certainly a little provocative because it plays around with some of those. People have an idea in mind when you say you're going to play a Civ game.
I call it a war game when I teach it.
You should.
I tell people it's a war game.
There is the least war in this game than of any Civ
Right,
game
there
there
Yeah,
is.
but I'd like to do the heavy lifting.
What does heavy lifting mean in this instance?
Heavy
Means
lifting.
pick up the box and put it on the table.
It is heavy.
And mine is tricked out, so
How much do you want to say that this will not be on the list next year?
so much. I so much want to say it.
Oh, it will be on the list next year.
You think so? I mean, it
Yes.
could be.
Yeah, it'll be.
Now
on
it's
the list.
balanced, so
I'll say it's gonna be in. I'm gonna be very specific. I'll say
Okay.
it's between 190.
I think it's going to be 76 next year.
I think it's going to be.
Sorry, you're even more specific.
That's right.
See,
I'm
you have to
going
now
to be
say how
less
many.
specific.
People, now you
I'm
can
gonna be
make
less
this
specific. I'll
happen.
say between 101 and 627.
I only count up to 160, dude.
Well, then, if it's not on the list, I'm right.
I'm not saying that I'm going to try to manipulate these numbers, but somehow we're going to
Oh,
get
the
this to
people have
76
ways.
next year. That's
How
right.
is that possible?
It's not, but I'm
People.
trying to
The only way
get
to
some
get more
intrigue.
specific, like it's 54. Also, 362 people are going to vote for it.
Ooh, that's when you know.
Nostradamus.
That's right. Yep. Obviously, very hot game. We'll see if it lasts.
I don't think it's going to have the staying power of like Wingspan.
No, I don't think so either, but I still think it's going to be, I think it'll be on our list next year.
All right.
All right.
Tapestry.
My next game has been on the list for 15 years.
Good.
Since the
Nice.
beginning. It was 59 last
So
year.
old.
I know. And this one is due for a reprint because the company that made it in
Chess.
America, Mayfair, is out of business.
Domain.
That's right.
Ah.
You need to take this game out back and shoot it already.
Domain is amazing. It's
There
in
are so many better games than this.
you don't remember playing this game.
Look, Dominoes is better.
Is this just give you something
Checkers.
Dom?
Dominion, certainly better.
King Domino.
King Dom, you know.
Okay, so Domain, if you look at the board here, you have these different colors and you have these castles with knights.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
And you're going to be building these little fences in between them. This is the opening. That's the opening setup there. And you're basically building kingdoms, but you are fighting each other. And the main mechanism of the game, where you can take a card or play a card. I mean, eventually, and you have to give up cards as time goes by, so other people can get them. It's a pretty solid game. It's Toiber's under-recognized game. I want to say it came out in '99, maybe, and he was living off Katana. He could have published anything.
Sure, right.
But I think this game's really well done, and I really think someone will pick it up. It was originally published as a different game called Lowenherz, which was a fairly mean game. This one is still mean, but they toned it down dramatically. And the component quality for this one is also really well done, considering it was Mayfair, who has never been known for their quality, although Cosmos is. I wonder if I should bug Thames and Cosmos, see if they're going to republish this at some point.
I wonder if a re-theme would help. Do you think? I mean, do you think the theme
I'm
might be
okay
a
with the
little-
theme because you're
Yeah.
like expanding your kingdoms back and forth. I really do like this. I mean, it's not a.
Maybe Bacteria would be cool. We've done that though. Like
yeah.
Reef Encounter. I mean, not Reef Encounter. What's the? It was a bacteria spreading game, wasn't it? I'm thinking of Reef Encounter, but that's coral.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Coral is nice. Bacteria is bad.
That would be good. Then you can do the mean version.
Bacteria spreading would be pretty cool. But
That would be.
there's no. Come on, what are you doing? Oh, I'm in your territory. Get out.
That's how bacteria work, or
That's right.
viruses.
It's science.
Yeah, man.
I don't
Get
think
with it. Look, let me tell you about science. My 56 is a very scientific game in which you are looking for a mythical city called El Dorado. And
The trail we blaze.
you're going to get there by using only scientific methods, such as a shovel, possibly a canoe,
Machete.
machete, and a little deck building on top of that. This is a Reiner Knizia game. I like this deck building game, and I will say that first because I think it uses deck building as a part of a whole. I think a lot of deck building games are stuck in a rut when it comes to considering deck building a mechanism, like worker placement.
Right.
worker placement games are then coupled with push your luck or area control or completing goals or whatever. Putting the workers face down. So there's bluffing, all sorts of stuff. Deck building games, by and large, are deck building games.
Right.
That's it. I like this because it helps me, customize what I want to do, the things I see coming up in the road, but it's a racing game.
Yeah.
It's mainly about that, and I really enjoy it. I think there's so many ways to set it up. It's so distinct from play to play. There's some great comeback abilities in the game. I remember distinctly one play of this, which was very memorable, where I was nearly there at the temple. And the other player just pulled a really fast one on me, went through one gate, came out of another one. I think this might have been using the expansion, I forget. Just worked out where they squeaked into the win where I was not seeing it coming, and they won. So that was neat.
That's impressive than if you had been the one to do it.
What's that?
That's less impressive than if you had been the one.
Oh, no, I can't win this game to save my life. No, actually, in fact, one game I started from the temple, and the other player started on the other side, and they still beat me.
Wow.
This was your 99 last year. This has moved up for you.
Yeah.
Expansion helped. The expansion was solid.
Okay.
I've played it some more, I guess.
Can you play the expansion with just more cards?
What do you mean?
I don't know the expansion. I mean, can you? There's a bunch of cards you can buy in this game. Can you just have more cards as part of the expansion, or is it a whole thing?
Oh, I see. Gosh, I don't remember, Tom. It's possible you have to use some of the other things.
Okay.
There are more cards. They're all set up. They're all available because you can't buy them all.
Right. I think some of the there's one different terrain, and obviously you would need those cards for that terrain.
Yeah.
I think that's really the only difference.
Right.
It also does the thing that Knizia seems to do, which is he take
other people's mechanisms.
Well, but here's the thing. But he makes one little twist, right? And to me, the twist in this game is that you can see all the cards that are potentially available for the game.
Right.
But you don't necessarily know if you're going to have access to those cards, and you got to choose whenever one of the market spots becomes empty. The person who took that last card gets to pick which of those cards to come down into the market
Something like
now.
that, right?
And so there's almost a timing thing where it's like, I don't know that I want to, leave this for someone else to choose what's going to come out. So it's a little thing, but it's neat.
I do like that. I do like that the pool that you can buy from is very limited.
Right.
And once emptied, something else comes in. I really like it. So I'm not surprised to see it climbing.
Do you want the
quest
new version?
for El Dorado? I heard the new one I haven't played yet is now like inside the temple, I think. They're pulling a Takao 2 with this.
Oh, boo.
I don't think it's combinable, but maybe it is. Anyway, yes, I do. I do want it. Do you have one for me?
Well,
that would be amazing if you did that. I'd be like, I refute all of science. Magic is the way to enlightenment. All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
The People's number 56
I'm getting
is
sick of the
another rising, soaring game that it was new last year, and it came in at 94 last year, so just snuck onto the list. But this year shoots up to 56. It is a game.
Rising, flying.
No, I was about to say Wingspan.
I know
there
the problem now is I can't say anything without you thinking it's a clue.
Rocketry.
This could have been a clue, I guess, but it's not. This is a game that should just be called Jurassic Park, the board game, although there is
Dinosaur Island.
This is Dino Island.
I was saying it because Dinogenics is not getting the same love overall that Dinosaur Island is getting.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, Dinosaur Island is, a big, garish production. It's a table hog.
Garish is a good word.
Yeah, it is. But that's obviously what they were going for. I mean, they had a very clear aesthetic, and they reached it. And either you like that aesthetic or you don't. I personally like it. The people obviously like it. It's as big and sprawling and convoluted as it appears, it actually is very, very streamlined in the sense that the components themselves lay out the flow of the game. You start on board 1, and then you go to board 2, and then you go to board 3, and then your personal board is phase 4. And I really think that's smart. They took a game that could have been difficult to internalize that game flow, and they used the components to help players do so. So you don't have to remember, okay, first I'm getting the DNA here, then I'm going to be, you can see it right in front of
neat.
you.
That's neat.
And that's one of the things about the game I think that works really well. Yeah, you're sacrificing table space to do it, but I think that's a good trade-off.
Sounds good. I've actually not played this
Good
game.
job, people.
I think you might like this, E. I really do.
I am not a fan of the cover and
No,
the
I
look,
know.
to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's had staying power for sure. This is one of those games that is just still being talked about.
That's
you
true.
know?
I'd say every year there's about 5 or 6 big Euros that everyone says are the greatest ever,
Right.
but usually only one of them lasts, or 2 last to the following years, and this is one.
Yeah, and it's going up. Number 56, Dinosaur Island. Cool.
Alrighty, now I don't want to get any guff on this game.
Oh,
Guff. Let me prepare
Which
my
has
guff.
gone from 87 to 55. But I know that the last time I put 2 games in the same slot. But this time I'm going to put 3.
What?
You only have 2 bits. No, actually, I wouldn't even put 3. It's just that it's part of a trilogy.
penny papers.
No!
That's 3 though.
That is 3. Only 1 penny papers I even like out of the 3.
Yes, I know. There's one good one and the other 2.
No,
are
so
okay.
the game here is Century Spice Road, which also could be...
Okay, I was close.
Which also could be Century Golem, but I'm not even counting. I'm saying that Century Eastern Wonders, I like a lot. I mean, I'm not Eastern Wonders. Century A New World, I like a lot too. I don't know which one I like better, but the one I like the best is the combo of the 2.
Okay.
So that's my number 55, A Century Spice Road / New World.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously, I really like them. I don't.
Like the number 55. Your number 55 pick is when the people buy both and use them together.
Technically, yes, but on the spreadsheet, it's going to say Spice Road because it's a lot easier.
All right, I see. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's your list. You do whatever you
I
want.
really like the third, A New World. I thought
Yeah.
Eastern Wonders was good. It wasn't as good as the first one, but the third one is just solid.
Yeah.
The third one's also one that I would teach new people,
Sure.
straight up.
Sure.
Also, the third one we have a promo for on our Kickstarter going on right now, which is actually, I don't think we actually put this in the thing yet. It's a reversible board. It's a new board for the game.
Oh,
So that's exciting.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that.
But anyhow, I like I thought it was a good trilogy.
Right.
It's done. It's finished. I asked him about a 4th game, and then Emerson's very mild, but he looked daggers at me. The quickness of the Spice Road is just, it's so simple.
Yeah, it is.
Take a card, play a card, and yet I cannot say the number of times I played it with people and they're like, this is so strategic. They get all involved in it. And even gamers, they'll sit there and go, well, it's a gateway game, but they like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree with the
I
new
am
one.
looking forward to the Golem 3rd game so that I can play those. Just because I think it's a prettier aesthetic.
Yeah. I have the first one, Gollum edition, and I think I will skip the second, likely, which is out now, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Put the third one in Gollum dress up, yeah, and then I can combine them. I heard it was Tom Vassel's 55th best game of all time was these 2 other games that he likes to play together. So my number 55 is actually 2 games that are not related to one another, but I like both. And I might even play them on the same day.
Huh.
The first one is Mr. Jack. So let's go ahead and show them that.
Yeah.
The second one is poker. And the way I like to do it is I like to gamble. See, I put into the pot clues for who Mr. Jack might be.
Oh,
you
I rolled a
rolled a
1 on
one.
that one. So.
Anyway, Mr. Jack,
Now, you already had Phantom of the Opera on your list.
I do,
believe.
and Mr. Jack, and that's it for this series.
Now, I think you would say, I don't like Mr. Jack that much, but I think we can all agree that the first and the second one are the same game.
Yes, and in fact, I no longer own this game. This is the highest rated game on my top 100 that I do not own.
Do you own the second one?
I do.
So then you would say that they both are in your 55, so shut up and stop bugging me
No,
about it.
I
It's the
actually
same.
like this better.
Oh, balderdash!
I do. This is a very specific choice to pick the one I've played the most and would rather play right now if you asked me.
I'm just saying I would be okay if you put them both here. I think they're the same game.
I do not cheat. at games or gaming-related topics.
Sorry.
Plus, if it was going to be my 55, I would say I play Mr. Jack and Mr. Jack New York combined on a bigger board. One of them in London, one of them in New York, physically in those places. And I send telegrams back and forth
Telegrams.
to let people know what move I'd like to make.
Telegrams. Play by telegram. That was
by
an
telegram.
old award that Origins used to have.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
Stop.
this is cool. It's very unique. I remember when this came out, I read about it. I read about this game coming out that's a two-player deduction game. One player the murderer, the other player trying to discover who the murderer is among this cast of characters. I couldn't even wrap my head around how is a two-player deduction going to work out. You know, a two-player deduction game. And it just feels very fresh and interesting. And it does to this day. It definitely did when it first came out. I find it puzzly, interesting, engaging. It's not really a deduction game. You're eliminating possibilities. You're not deducing anything. You know, after one round, well, it can't possibly be that one or that one. You flip those tokens over. Now it's only one of these 6, and then eventually one of these 5, and so on. But it is engaging, and it's thinky. It's a thinky game. They had a second edition of this come out with new artwork from Piero, by the way. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing Tom just did. We've got a play mat from Piero coming up on our Kickstarter that's running right now. We just got a look at some of this artwork, folks.
It's slick.
It is very nice.
It's really good.
Very nice. Anyway, the new edition of this was updated a little bit to balance the game out a little bit more, and I think it's even more robust now. So that's maybe why I got rid of mine, because it was the original. And I don't want
I
to play
still
that on
have all
balanced
the
garbage.
games on my list in the Dice Tower library that's not at my house conveniently.
55, Monsieur Jack.
Could you play, this play by telegram thing has me a little fascinated.
I know, you
Could
like
you
it.
play Can't Stop by play by telegram?
Oh, man.
Sure, you can play anything by
I'll
telegram.
move to stop. Be like, oh, no, what I meant was.
Yeah.
Or would you just put the word can't stop? And then.
The telegram, it would be cheap. You pay for one word. You'd be like, can't stop. The next one, they send you one back that says like what you got, and then you're like, can't stop. Eventually, it just says, send a blank telegram. But sir, a blank one. I said, stop.
This is the dumbest conversation. I'm sorry, Mike.
Oh, that's all right. I like actually playing Escape Curse from the Temple by Telegram, but that's next level right there. 55 for the people is a game that has somewhat consistent, but it is going down a bit. It was 33 2 years ago, 40 last year, 55 this year.
Okay.
It is a game that is part of a larger world, I would say.
Is it a Ryan Lockett world?
No, I'll give you, it's a Fantasy Flight production.
So it's Terranoth.
No.
Star Wars?
No.
What else they got?
Rex.
Game of Thrones.
They got their Twilight
Roy's giving you a
Imperium.
hint over there with his tentacle hands.
Cthulhu.
Okay, so it's in that world. Which
world? That's
of the
our
games-
world.
That's our world.
Well,
That's
no,
real
it's-
life.
Okay, it's the Lovecraft mythos. It's Eldritch horror. Come on, people. Come on.
That's called giving up right there.
This is outrageous.
Here's your answer. Shut up.
Roy's over there flailing about next. I'm afraid he's going to knock over our video
Wait,
recorder.
why are you doing this, Ted? These are like all Roy's games.
These are Roy's games. I think the
Roy's
list
over
got
there
switched.
weeping. Kemet comes up.
I know.
I think Roy has been influencing the people to his horrible design. So the Eldritch horror, storytelling game, long game.
Yes.
But look, there's no doubt that this theme is immensely popular. You keep thinking that there's not going to be more games in this world, and they just keep coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just something about it. I think it's frightening without being necessarily too frightening.
It's not really scary.
That's
at
the
all.
whole thing. I think
That's
it's more
creepy.
creepy
It's like
and
a
eerie.
creepy setting. It's cool. It's
Atmospheric. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's a cool setting.
It also is one that I think lends to imagination a lot, and so
This one does, I would say. So the world, the fact that the scope is the world.
Right.
You're moving around from city to city, running into back alley thugs in, I don't know, Cairo.
Right.
And then over here in this other city, you've got some creature that they found in some abandoned house. Yeah, it's that world trekking stuff. It's really neat. I just wish the game wasn't so stinking long and so stinking difficult.
Right.
So when Arkham Horror was on the list originally, I watched the People's Choice, and it went like this. Arkham Horror went like this. They passed each other. Elder Chart moved up. I don't think that will happen with Arkham Horror 2.
Third
edition, sorry. In fact, I wonder if that will hit the list at all. And I wonder if this will slide off the list eventually, and some new... I mean, maybe the living card game will move up. I don't actually,
Potentially, you could also put Mansions of Madness in this.
That's true.
same
There is
category,
if
too.
you want your Cthulhu fix, there's a lot of good choices.
Correct. Yeah, and I do think that they are somewhat improving on the system. You know what I mean? They're kind of streamlining things a bit. So Eldritch Horror.
But
is still,
also all the designers, everybody who worked on this is now gone. Kevin Wilson, Corey Konieczka, Nikki Valens, they're all gone from Fantasy Flight. So if someone else is going to make another Arkham Horror, who?
Right.
I know who. Who just made the Final Hour one?
Oh, I don't remember. It was that wasn't a Cthulhu game. Come on now.
It was.
Please.
Technically speaking.
The people know better. They can see through that nonsense.
Best kind of speaking.
That game was Domain, and then they said, "Hey, let's make it Cthulhu Domain." There you go. Final
Klaus
Hour.
Teuber.
Cut. Boring conversation. All right, my number 54 is the second year it's been on the list. It was 48 last year, so pretty close to the same spot. The best game with this theme, probably.
Slapping fools.
Western themed.
Oh.
And that would be Western Legends.
Ah.
I really like Western Legends. I always have. I enjoyed the.
You always have. You. Yeah, 2
Since
years.
it came out.
All right, calm down. It's not that long.
No, but I like the concept of it. The sandbox thing really appeals to me. I really enjoyed the new expansion. Lets you rob trains. Yeah. That was a fun thing that you couldn't do in the first one.
Horrible behavior.
This game teaches, though, that crime
Pays.
does not pay always.
Yeah, but it's there. See, I don't like this message of robbing trains. What if the kids today...
Wait, you just had Mr. Jack on your thing.
Yeah, and the message is, don't kill and pretend to be someone else to get away. See, this message is, rob trains, kids. Put down your Nintendos and your PlayStations.
Get some exercise.
Go out there and find some trains.
Good luck finding a train, first of all.
Anywhere you can, and rob it.
Of what?
Like
You get in, there's these big giant boxes. You're like, oh. Let's
packing peanuts.
Green beans. I picked the wrong train.
Anyway, it really is fun. It lets you do all the stuff in those old West movies, shootouts and all that. I really like it. And so, Western Legends.
Yeah, sandboxy. All right, what's mine? Tiny little game called Silver and Gold. Silver and Gold is...
I knew it was coming.
I can't help it, man.
One of my favorite roll and writes, or whatever, flip and writes. From recent memory, I really like this
language
one.
on our show. Don't want to hear about no flip and write game.
Flip and write. Flipping.
Nice save.
Anyway, this one is neat. You are going to be completing these islands, exploring them. The cards themselves, you are going to use a dry erase marker to write on them, because you can wipe them clean. The cards have a finish on them that you can just, not worry about messing up the finish on them. And that's one of my favorite things. That really tickled me when I first saw the game, where you shuffled up the deck. They shuffle like regular cards. They are, a normal deck of cards. But then when the game starts, you can just start making little crosses right on it. Put it aside when it's finished, draft a new one, continue doing your thing, score the most victory points. Takes about 15 minutes or so, scales well, no matter how many players you're playing with, because everybody's doing their own thing at the same time. Yeah, I like it. It's an easy recommend, this game. If you enjoy this type of game, if you want something that's breezy, easy to get into, it's not going to ruffle any feathers, couldn't possibly, right? Yeah, this is a great recommend for that.
This is new to your list, everyone says.
Very new, also.
Yeah.
though.
I'm actually, this is my bag right now. I have it as like a backup emergency. Who wants to play this game?
Right? It just fits that vibe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have one in my back pocket right now.
Well, I got
Silver
one
and
right.
gold.
This die transform. Watch. Had I been that guy on the internet, that would have happened. The guy who can turn like a card in the.
Oh, if this
Oh,
wasn't
I
live,
saw that,
also.
yeah.
I know, stupid live.
See, none of your magic works now.
I blame
that
the
we're live.
people.
The people?
Wow.
What do the people have to say about this?
I feel personally attacked. The people, for 54, have a game that is really at its heart a abstract dice placement game that I think the theme is what has made this so popular. Very unique, and it's really, really consistent. 2 years ago, or last year, sorry, was new, 55. This year, 54.
Ooh, I moved up a whole one.
Well,
New?
well, newish. I mean, last year was its first year. It's already had an expansion, and it's this.
Stained glass.
No, but it's very similar. People compare this game to that. The theme is very different.
D&D.
Right. What's the game?
Role player.
Role player. That's right. Role player. You know, at its heart,
That's
really,
pretty high, actually.
It's an
That
abstract
is.
dice placement game. But what a neat idea, you know,
Right.
to put it in the world of you know, a generic role-playing game, but everyone knows this is D&D, where you kind of take
That's
those
the same
tropes.
stats,
yeah,
dude.
everything. But it's a really neat way to get you invested in where you're placing these colored dice, because that's all you're doing. So much so that people clamored, hey, I want to take these characters and do something with them. So they added that expansion where you can now fight a big baddie with those characters.
monsters and minions,
Monsters
right?
and minions. So
Well, they have a thing that's coming out.
that was just announced.
Okay,
yeah.
good. I just was
Yeah, it was on
suddenly
Twitter,
pulling
so
back
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, where they're actually going to be able to make these characters and play them in a campaign, and suddenly the world's upside down and
In an
cyclical
actual
again.
campaign of what?
This,
Of a role-playing
I think they're
game
building a
that-
system.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it was a very.
Role player, the role-playing
It's called
game?
Monsters and Mazes. That's not right, actually.
Goblins and
Ghosts and
goobs.
goblins. Yeah.
Catacombs and
Catapults.
Number 54, role player.
Felines and feces.
my number 53 is the next one. It's been on the list for 15 years. It was 80 last year. It's moved up. I don't have any particular reason why. It has had a ton of names because it keeps getting reprinted by different publishers, and no one ever makes money with this game, I think. And that is
Loco.
Hollywood. That's a good one. Hollywood Blockbuster or
Tron Fabrique or Dream
Tron
Factory.
Fabrique or Fabrique de Tron or Dream Factory. The thing is, Dream Factory is the one that's shown up here. It doesn't matter to me. I like my own personalized, customized one. But I like the game. The game is fantastic, where you basically are making movies, and it's a fun auction thing from Knizia where you pay everybody else. So if you lose auctions, eventually you're going to have the most money. And then the whole fun thing about sticking people in to the movies, and you got Steven Spielberg directing, you know, Night of the Living Dead. It's a very grandiose spectacle, you know, starring Chris Rock. You know, it's a
Right.
very and you laugh about these movies. The thing is, the original one had only 1920s actors, stuff that's in public domain. So I pasted it up to make it fun. Then they started making them with parody names, which I'm kind of iffy on. You know, if I'm playing with Steven Spielberg or whatever, I don't know. It's still funny, but it's, I don't know, it's a little bit less funny.
Yeah, right.
But the game is really good beyond that.
It's a good bidding game.
It is.
It really is. No one can seem to hang on to this. Someone will print it. They'll publish it. This is Philosophia. I think Uberplay did one. It's so many. It's just.
It was just re-released, I think, last year by maybe a Spanish company.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. With real Hollywood stuff. It had Audrey Hepburn on the cover, so.
Well, sure, but she was in the original
Right,
one.
Yeah.
She was one of the few I kept. I was like, I don't know these people. Jim Carrey's going on top of that. This was in the early 2000s. So even my copy's now pretty old.
That's true. All right, my 52 is a crossover with the people on this very top 10.
Oh,
53, yeah.
50. Yeah, my 52 will be a crossover.
Woo!
All right, with somebody.
Spoilers!
People's on point.
You'll see. I just wanted to tempt you, see if you'll take the right path.
It's actually the next 53. Z actually knew that was coming.
My 53, though, is a one of the Omniverse games. This one is called Nautilian. I'm not going to talk about it too much because Tom hates me. This one is
Nothing to do with a game.
a roll and move
Wow, I hate that
solitaire
so much.
or two-player game. You roll 3 dice. You must use one of them to move yourself, one of them to move the baddies towards you, and one of them to take a possible penalty. You need to make it to the end before the baddies pass you and make it to your homeland. That's it. There's a lot of variety in it. Nautilian, 53. I like it. It's a roll and move, too.
It is. Yeah, it is. The people have to go more quickly. They're taking too long. 53 is a big, heavy Euro. It was 30, 2 years ago, 60 last year, 53, so it's kind of gone up and
Had a
down.
bounce back?
Yep. Gaia, no, it was Gaia Project. I mean, it started as this, Terra Mystica. I'm losing my mind, people. I had to speed
Is
up.
it Terra Mystica?
It's Terra Mystica. We already did Gaia Project. Terra Mystica.
I remember doing Gaia Project is what it's Z's crossover, I feel.
That's right. That's what it is. Terra Mystica, big, heavy Euro, still very popular amongst the people that like it, love this game.
They really do.
true.
They
Yeah.
play it over and over again. This is one that we talked about, asymmetrical factions being rebalanced. I saw in the expansion to Terra Mystica that they had they made adjustments to the factions.
That
so-
only
Really?
matters for people who are like
Play it
really.
right.
I heard that people who really like the game, they'll bid on the starting factions, the victory points and all. I'm like, ugh. If you're doing that, then I'm not good enough to play against
Absolutely.
you. Period.
Right.
I'm not interested enough to play against you either,
Well, you didn't like
probably.
the game, actually. You did play this one,
I did, I know.
and you loved it.
I don't like it.
Number 53, Terra Mystica.
My number 52 is new to the list, although it did come out in 2018. It's just that I did not play it until the Dice Tower Retreat of that year, and then I played it up the wazoo. Love this game. It's getting almost no buzz from anywhere.
Well, I would have said Vindication, but that was already on your list.
Vindication has not already been on my list. Vindication has been on the People's Choice list. I don't know if it's on my list or not. But that one is getting buzz because it was on the People's Choice. This one is probably not. This one is a game that kicked Splendor off my list, and that is the King's Guild.
Oh, no. Okay.
Really boring
okay.
name, unfortunately.
That's a great
Look at the
looking
cover,
game.
Woo!
Hey,
I
actually,
think I own this already and don't even realize it.
the cover's growing on me, but I really enjoy the game. It's a simple game of take some resources, use those resources to fulfill an order on a card, or
Yeah, it's so boring the computer fell asleep. Yeah. Yeah. The stream was like, nah. There are limits even to my prowess.
it's a good game. It really
sure
is.
it's good. It
It's
just-
fast. It's quick. Grab some resources, use those, build buildings, give you special abilities. Everyone I've taught this to has really enjoyed it. I just think it's not getting enough of that push out there, and it's on my top 100 for a reason. I think it's super fun. And actually, the more I look at this cover, the more I like it. So
I like the cover, actually. It looks
It's
weird
all
up
right,
there,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't like the title. It should have gone with
no,
something
the title
a little more
is
interesting.
boring. I won't argue that, but the cover is good.
All right, 52 for me, as I said, was on that list.
Wait, quick, go through yours. Hurry.
It was on my list.
Just read through them in order.
Oh, okay. Sheriff of Nottingham, Istanbul,
Possible.
Kemet,
Possible.
Tapestry,
No.
Dino Island,
No.
Eldritch Horror,
No.
Role Player,
No.
Terra Mystica.
So it's Sheriff or it's Istanbul. He likes both. I'll go with Sheriff.
I go with Kemet. I know you haven't played it. I'm going
I
Istanbul.
played Kemet. Yeah, I don't
I-
like Kemet that much.
Yeah.
It's Istanbul, yeah.
Ah! Mike had a good chance at it.
I said Istanbul afterwards.
He did.
I was
yeah,
kidding.
Istanbul, for everything we talked about already, I just like the way this all works out. That concept of, moving your stack, dropping off a worker, taking an action, but picking up worker up also triggers an action. So you might be able to set yourself a little path where you can deploy the guys and then come back and pick them back up and do the thing again.
Mm-hmm.
It's neat. And I love that there is no scoring at the end of this game.
Right.
When you get to this many gems, you win.
That is
Game's
scoring.
over. There's no...
It's a race to
a
do
race,
something
yeah.
first.
Yeah, but you don't have to, once the game end is triggered, you don't score.
Oh, I see. Sure.
Yeah.
It was your 58 last year. It went up.
Very, very, it's the same, 52, 58. Any other, those are so close together, they might as well be the same thing.
Do you play with the expansions at all?
I
or?
do. I like one of them more than the other one. The letters and seals I like a little bit more than the coffee one.
Yeah.
Anyway, 52.
The People's 52 just keeps rolling along. I mean, it's a pretty
Rolling.
31 2
Rolling.
years ago, 43 last year, 52 this year.
King of Tokyo.
Yeah, it just keeps rolling along. I mean, it's pretty soon it's going to just keep going into
You said
space.
the word rolling twice, I feel like.
Rolling into space, roll through.
Roll for the galaxy.
Roll for the.
Boom! Rolling for the galaxy. Yeah,
Obvious
so
clues I'm good at.
This seems to be one that people either like this or they like race. It seems like people don't play both.
I'll play both.
I think
You're
you're an
not people,
outlier. I think
okay?
the people.
You're right, I'm not the people.
Yeah, I think that
Well,
this is one
not
where
for 11
I think
more
people
entries.
choose sides here. I really do. I think people choose sides and they either play race or they play roll. I mean, of course, that's a blanket statement, but I don't see
Best
people
kind of statement.
playing both very often. It's either now that rolls come out, I only play roll, or no, I still like race and I don't want to play roll. I don't know. I feel like this is something.
I
that,
agree.
Yeah.
That's kind of, they are kind of similar in concept. If you
Yeah.
enjoy the theme in games, these both are going to give you the same theme. So
Right.
you tend to pick one, I want to do this in space and produce things in space by doing it with cards or chucking dice.
Yeah.
I like the card game myself. You like both.
I do like both.
You're weird. You're weird.
This has an easier entry point. I think either there's
I
less of a
don't,
barrier.
I thought about that. The problem is explaining to people that the whole dice placement thing. I always have run into a little bit of trouble with that.
Sure. But have you had as much trouble as trying to explain the iconography on the cards?
The problem is I'm so good at teaching Race for the Galaxy now.
You're just too good.
No,
You're too good.
No. I mean, I'm really good at teaching Race for the Galaxy. It's
Yeah.
not as complex anymore.
You know what
Right.
else you're really good at? Being humble. You are like the best person at being humble that I've ever met. Probably the best person at being humble in the world.
Not the world.
Number 52, roll
Galaxy.
for the Galaxy.
This list is definitely getting off the rails. My number 51 has been constantly moving up. It showed up 2 years ago at 121, then moved to 60. Now it's 51. The expansion came out this year, although that doesn't really affect my opinion of it. I like the expansion a lot, but I like drafting, and this game is all drafting, and that is Bunny Kingdoms. Having a bigger board,
Bunny
though.
Kingdom, by the way. One kingdom.
If you have 2 copies of the game, it's Bunny Kingdoms.
Right there, it says Kingdoms.
Let me show you where a typo can be found.
Bunny Kingdom. Wow. It should be called Bunny Kingdoms because you're
Well,
creating
there are
multiple
more than one.
kingdoms.
Yeah.
Call Richard Garfield and tell him what you really think of him.
You're a hack. What have you done for this board game community,
Oh, man.
Richard?
Oh, man. I wouldn't do that.
No, probably not. That's what you shouldn't do.
I
That
love
was role playing.
Bunny Kingdom. It's a fantastic game. Every card you get will allow you to play stuff on this map where you're creating these Bunny Kingdoms or fiefdoms, or it's a way to score points at the end of the game.
Yes.
Lots of great choices. It scales well. It's fun. It has a good look to it. The biggest problem that we have with the game, the board was fixed. They sent out a free board basically to everybody who asked for one, and that's
And
in
I
the
got
new edition.
garbage for that.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? I remember when I first played this, I said, I can't see what's going on this board. It's way
Right.
too
Who
small.
gave you garbage?
Oh, this and that.
Not the people.
Was it the people?
Not the people.
I blame the people.
People are
I'm
behind
sorry,
you
when I
100%,
say this board
Z.
looks no good, it's crammed, I can't tell colors apart, and then the company sends out a free replacement board. I feel a little bit validated. I'm the most humble person in the world, but I know what I'm talking about, at least when it comes to rabbits.
The The people like this game. They just wish the scoring was a little bit quicker at the end.
It's like hundreds of points
it's
too,
like, come
right?
on.
I got it.
Come on
If you
now.
play me, I'll score everybody.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
can we trust it, math teacher?
Tom has
All right,
never
my number
lost a game.
51. Speaking of games that did not get enough love, like the King's Guild, this is one that I feel is underappreciated, but I think it's the best in the series. The Manhattan Project
Oh.
Energy Empire.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I think this just didn't get good distribution.
Something.
That might be it. Yeah, this is such a good game.
really
it's
is.
a worker placement kind of game. Yeah, it's a worker placement game. You're deploying your little people to do different actions. I enjoy every part of this game. I like that your turn is sending one little worker out, possibly with energy if you need to overbid or pay more than somebody else, to some location on the board, and then after that you get to trigger all of your cards if you want to. You got to put workers on it, or energy, whatever. But that's such a satisfying turn late game.
Yeah.
Where you get to do one thing out here, but also boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, and then the energy production aspect of it, which is where the dice come in, is also really fun. Once you've burnt out your energy, your people are all out, you do a recall action, and you roll for new energy. You roll dice for that. It might contaminate your environment, but you've also got dice that don't contaminate. They have, they're clean energy, but it's harder to produce that kind of energy.
Right.
Like, dice really work well for that concept, like this, you're rolling to push your luck to see what you get. You might get exactly what you want. I really like it. It's such a solid game. Manhattan Project Energy Empire. If this one got by you, you never did play it, find somebody who owns one and play with it.
This was your 48 last year. Really
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, wow, really? I am so consistent.
My theory is that people thought this was a expansion to Manhattan Project, and when they found out it wasn't, that caused
If
problems.
I could just, I want to get
really
all the
think
publishers
that's what
in the
it
world
was.
in the room and be like, stop it!
Yeah.
Stop naming games based on your other popular
Right.
games. It's confusing.
I think that did this game a disservice because it is, first
You know
of all,
what?
it's a
You're
superior
right. Looking
game.
at it now, yeah, you're right. I could totally see this being the Energy Empire expansion.
Right.
Or if you didn't like Manhattan Project.
Right. Because it doesn't play
Yeah.
really anything
They're
like
really
Manhattan
different
Project.
games.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, you're right.
By the way, quick shout out to Mike from Miss Cora says hi.
Hey, Cora. Yeah, now we know we've got the smartest among the people representing us all. Cora's going to love this one. I'm sure she plays it all the time, number 51. Once there was a man, a game designer, who was known for small little card games. Very, very popular small little card games.
There's only one man who you're about to make this transition, and that's Rosenberg.
You're correct.
Change
And
from card games to humongous games.
to humongous
No,
games.
He changed from making silly bean card games
Correct.
to being abducted by aliens on a planet where people are not fed
Correct.
to then being dropped back on Earth and suddenly being obsessed with feeding his family and himself and everyone on
So
Earth.
this is one of those big games.
This is one of those big games. It is the first of those big games.
Ora et Hungria.
Incorrecto.
Agricola.
Agricola.
Second edition.
Yes.
I don't know.
is
I don't
Agricola.
think it matters.
Yeah, I mean, this is, when this came out, it was a sensation.
It was.
I mean,
a
it
huge
really,
deal.
really was. I mean, it wasn't the first worker placement game, but man, this is the game that I think put worker placement on the map. And people either seem to tap out the first time they play and they have to feed their people, or they find that something that they like. They like that kind of punishing aspect of it.
I think the first time you play, you just don't think it's a big deal. I'm like,
Right.
this beggar card's worth -3. I'm like, just 3? No worries. At the end of the game, you're like, what? I got 6 of them.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Agricola is a sensation. It's going to be, let's look at where it was. 35,
Has it ever
2
been
years
one
ago.
on people's list?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't go that far back on my list.
Agricola, using my quick, I will tell you. Why Mike keeps talking about it.
It was 35 2 years ago. It was 49 last year, 51. So really consistent. I mean,
it's very slowly dropping.
Very slowly.
But that's because of the influx of new games.
Correct. And
like
this is,
Agricola, all creatures big and small.
Right.
And Agricola, oh no, the aliens are coming back, which is upcoming.
And
what number is it?
Agricola, the Trout Bandit.
It's 51?
It is 51.
That sounds like a promo card.
It should be a
The
promo
Trout
card.
Bandit.
It was, the highest it was 25 in 2011.
Okay.
I'm not sure I did People's Choice before that.
Oh.
So it probably would have been one when it
some
first
point,
came out.
at some point.
So
This-
25 was
alright.
the highest,
Yeah,
though.
this is like Katana, and that this is going to be played in 10 years. I mean, Agricola's not going anywhere, people. It's just not. Even if you don't like it, get used to it. It's not going anywhere.
You got Agricola in your house, waking your people up.
That's right. Yeah.
Folks, if you appreciate our show, our Kickstarter is still running right now, Dicetower at Kickstarter.com, and there are still plenty of cool promos and things for people if you want to back them, and we appreciate all those who did. It's been a great weekend. We're preparing for more of these. Tomorrow we're going to enter into 50 through 41,
Finally.
and then,
The good stuff.
no, the good stuff starts Wednesday.
With all top 40 hits.
And
Hey
then
now, 2 for
What's
Tuesday.
going to happen on that day? Tell me.
Mike and Roy will both be joining us.
With his own
I
personality.
know, it's going to be rough.
I will be
It's gonna
taking the
rough.
People's Choice list from his cold living fingers.
There we go. All right.
I have to be responsible for my own picks. I'm not happy
That's
with
true.
it. I'm not a fan of that. at
Oh,
all.
I
Now
would have
on, we
picked
can
this
actually
one.
pick on you. Yeah.
Right. I'm still going to blame the people.
All right.
Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Thank you.
I am Mike DeLisio.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.